Hello students. The topic that we are discussing today is a very important topic for both paper 2 and paper 4. So that's coordinate geometry. Now under coordinate geometry, the important things that we'll be discussing part by part. Number one is the distance between the 2 points, say A, whose coordinates are x1, y1, and point B, whose coordinates are x2, y2. The second important thing that we'll be discussing is the midpoint of the coordinates A and B, how to find the midpoints. The third thing, which is very, very important, we'll be discussing is the gradient of A and B, or even known as slope of the points A and B. So these are the topics that we'll be discussing under this head today. So now, let's start one by one. So if I'm talking about the distance between A and B, so that means we have to go for the distance part, finding it out between the coordinates. So now, let's start. Suppose there's a point whose coordinates is x1, y1. There's a point B whose coordinate is x2, y2. So now, if I have to find the distance between 2 points, so the formula says it should be the root under of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So that's the formula for the distance between the 2 points AB. Now, how do we get that? Suppose there's any point A whose coordinates is x1, y1. There's any point B whose coordinate is x2, y2. So to get this distance AB, now we need this length and this length. So obviously that's the difference between the y-axis. So that has to be y2 minus y1. And that's the difference between the x coordinate, which has to be x2 minus x1. So to get the length x, we can easily apply Pythagoras theorem and get the distance between, and get this distance x, which is a distance between the points A and B. Now, moving ahead from here, if I need to go for the midpoint formula, right? Again, if I take the two coordinates to be x and y, x1, y1, and point B to be x2, y2. In that case, if I'm finding the midpoint, so the formula has to be the exact arithmetic means of abscissa and exact arithmetic means of ordinates. That means if I say, suppose point A has coordinates 2, minus 5, and point B has a coordinate 3, 6. So if I have to get the midpoint, so according to the formula, this is my x1, this is my y1, that's my x2, and that's my y2. So to get the midpoint, I have to do 2 plus 3 divided by 2, minus 5 plus 6 divided by 2. So in this case, my midpoint coordinates are 5 by 2 and half. So that's the answer to the midpoint of A and B. Now, moving ahead, if we go to the other part of it, like the gradient between x and y. So again, if I take the coordinates of A as x1, y1, and the coordinates of B as x2, y2. So according to the gradient formula, M is represented as gradient or also represented as slope of the line. Now, M, the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that means, for an example, if I have A as 2, 5, and if I have B as minus 3, 1, So if now this is my x1 comma y1 and that's my x2 and y2. So if now I have to get the gradient, so according to the formula y2 minus y1, so that means 1 minus 5 divided by x2 minus x1. So that means I got it as minus 4 and that's divided by minus 5. So minus gets cancelled. So the slope of my line is 4 by 5. So that's the gradient of the given line. Now, the other very important part, which is usually asked, is how to get the slope if the angle of inclination is given to you, right? So always remember, once we measure any angle, suppose this is a line, and if you are trying to find the slope in terms of angle, so we'll be measuring the angle from the positive direction of x-axis taken anti-clockwise as positive. That means if this angle is theta, then m should be equal to tan of theta. For an example, if I say that there is a line which is inclined at an angle of 45 degrees taken from x direction of x-axis, positive direction of x-axis, and measured anti-clockwise, and that's 45 degrees. So that literally means the slope of the line should be equal to tan of 45 degrees, and that's equals to 1. So we can say that the slope of the line is equals to 1. Similarly, if I ask you a question like this, that if this is the line and this angle is 60 degrees, so you cannot write the slope of the line as tan 60. That means you have to measure this angle, which is 30 degrees. So you can write the slope of the line as tan of 30 degrees, which is equals to 1 by root 3. So that's how we represent the inclination of a line and the slope of it. Now, moving ahead, we go on to the equation of the straight line. So that literally means the equation of the straight line is usually written as y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the gradient or the slope of the line, as we already discussed. Now, what is c then? Now, c is nothing, but it's the y-intercept of the line. Now, we are discussing something. What does the y-intercept or x-intercept means, right? So please remember, if I'm talking about to find the x-intercept of any line, so that literally means I have to put y-coordinate equal to 0. And if I have to find the y-intercept of any line, so I have to put x-coordinate equals to 0. So always remember, if you're finding x, put the opposite one as equals to 0. If you have to find y-intercept, put the opposite one equals to 0. What does intercept means? That's the point where the given line cuts the respective axes. That means if this is the equation or the sketch of a line, this point where it's cutting x-axis is called x-intercept. And the point where it's cutting y-axis is known as y-intercept. So as you can see that y-intercepts lie on y-axis, so obviously it will not have x-coordinate. And since x-intercepts lies on x-axis, so it will not have y-coordinate. So for an example, if I just ask you the equation of a line, say suppose the equation of the line is 3y and that's equals to 6x plus 5. I asked you to find the intercepts. So that means you can write the line as 3y minus 6x minus 5 equals to 0. So if I have to get x-intercept of the line, so I have to put y equals to 0. So if I put y equals to 0 over here, so I got minus 6x equals to 5. So I got x equals to minus 5 by 6. Now, that's the coordinate of x-intercept of the line. Similarly, if I have to get the y-intercept of any line, so that means I have to put x coordinate as equals to 0. So that means we got 3y minus 5 and that's equals to 0. So y equals to 5 by 3. That's the y-intercept of the line. So that's how we get the x-intercept and the y-intercept of any line that we need to find out. Now, moving ahead from here. Now what I'm trying to tell you is the most easiest way to find the equation of a line. So please pay attention. That's the most easiest way you can find the equation of any line. So that means, suppose the slope of the line is m and the line is passing to the coordinate x1, y1. Then the equation is straightforward, written as y minus y1 equals to slope into x minus x1. What I mean to say, suppose if I tell you the slope of the line is 1 by 3 and is passing to the point as minus 2 comma 3. So what should be the equation of the line? So instead of doing y is equal to mx plus c and getting the values of c and y, you can straightforward get the equation of the line from here. That literally means I have to write y minus 3 equals to 1 by 3, and that's x plus 2. Look at the sign change here because x coordinate is negative. So that means if I cross multiply, so I got 3y minus 9 equals to x plus 2. Or we got it as 3y minus x, and that's equals to 11. So yeah, so that's the equation of the line that we are looking for. Please learn this method. It's very, very useful. Now, moving ahead from here, from the equation of the line, we need to discuss something about the slopes. Now, we are discussing about the parallel lines. So, if I talk about parallel lines, so the most important part is the slope of the two lines has to be same. So that literally means if I ask you that a line is 3y equals to 6x plus 5 and is 4y equals to 8x plus 3, are these lines parallel? So in that case, you have to make y as a subject. So in first line, we became y is equal to 2x plus 5 by 3. The second line, you can again say y is equal to 2x plus 3 by 4. And since we compare it with the line y is equal to mx plus c, so here the value of m is the coefficient of x. So that's the m of the line and that's the m of the line. So if I say this as m1 and this as m2, since m1 equals to m2, we say that the lines are parallel. Now, this is a very important criteria to find the parallel lines. Please remember that there's a lot of questions asked on this. One type of question which is asked on parallel lines is they can give you the coordinates of the 2 points and say suppose coordinates of point A is a comma 5. The coordinates of point B is 2 comma 3. And they say that this AB is parallel to a line L1 whose slope is equals to 4, right? Then what is the value of A? So now we have to apply the gradient formula. That means we can write it as x1, y1. We can write it as x2, y2. So if I'm finding the slope of the line AB, so that's y2 minus y1, so that's 3 minus 5 over x2 minus x1, so that's 2 minus a. And that is equals to 4 because the lines are parallel, so the slope has to be same. So that means I got it as minus 2 equals to 8 minus 4a. So if I calculate the value of 4a, so that has to be 10. In that case, a has to be 2.5. That's the value of a that we need to find out calculating the gradients, right? Now, moving ahead to something called perpendicular lines, another very vital topic for IGCSE. So what we are discussing now is perpendicular lines. So that literally means that the two lines are making 90-degree angles to each other. Say suppose if the slope of line L1 is M1 and the suppose line L2 has a slope M2. So for the conditions to the lines to be perpendicular, the product of the slopes has to be equal to -1. Or we can say that they are negative reciprocals to each other. That literally means, suppose if I gave you an equation of a line that 3y equals to 6x plus 2 and y is equal to 5x plus 3. So if now I have to find the slope of the line, so I have to make y as a subject. So that 2x plus 2 by 3, dividing by 2 on both the sides. And y is equal to 5x plus 3. So the slopes of the line is 2 and 5. Right. So that literally means if the slopes of the lines are m1 equals to 2 and m2 equals to 5. So if I'm multiplying m1 and m2, so I'm getting 2 into 5, which is equals to 10 and not equal to minus 1. Since the product of the slopes is not equal to minus 1, lines are not perpendicular. So please remember this, that for perpendicular lines, the product of the two slopes has to be equal to minus 1. Now, moving ahead to the other part of the question. The types of questions asked is, suppose if I give you the coordinates of the point A as a comma 2 and the coordinates of the point B as 3 comma 5, and I asked you that there is a line L1 whose slope is equals to 1 by 3, right? Then what should be the value of A such that AB is perpendicular to L1? Then you have to get the value of A. So in that case, we'll first find the gradient of AB. So we'll apply again. So that's x1, y1, and that's x2 comma y2. So we can write it as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is the difference of ordinates over difference of abscissa. And that is equals to 5 minus 2 over 3 minus a, right? So the slope that we got from here is 3 over 3 minus a. So that's the slope of the line AB. The slope of the line L1 is 1 by 3. So according to the formula, slope of the line AB into M1 should be equal to minus 1 since these two lines are perpendicular. So that means 3 by 3 minus a into M1, which is 1 by 3, and that should be equal to minus 1. So we can cancel out 3. So we got 1 equals to minus of 3 minus a. So that means if I open the bracket, so 1 equals to minus 3 plus a, or the value of a has to be 4. Now that's the value of a that we are looking for. A lot of questions in this zone is been asked in examinations so far. So please note it down. Hi, Valencia, getting my voice? Able to hear? Sorry, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, should I remove this? This is written?
Yes, sir. I'm okay.
Okay. So now, moving ahead to the other types of questions that's been asked us. They give you the equation of the line in the form of ax plus by plus c equals to 0. And they ask you to find the gradient or the slope of the line. So the straightforward or the easiest formula to get is m equals to minus a by b. So if you apply this formula, you straightforward get the slope of the line. So if it's a one marker question, so you can straightforward apply this formula to get the slope. But if it's a two marker question, then you need to show the steps. So the step should be you have to make y as a subject. So that means I can write Vy equals to minus c and minus of ax. I just moved these two on the other side. So if you're writing y, so that's minus c by b, and that's minus a by b into x. So if I'm comparing it with the line y is equal to mx plus c, so we can clearly say that the y-intercept of the line is minus c by b, and the slope of the line is minus a by b, and that's the, if I give you the equation of the line as 2x plus 3y, and that's minus 5, and that's equals to 0, and I asked you to get the slope. So if it's a one marker, so that's the value of a, that's the value of b, and that's the value of c. So it should be minus a by b, so that means minus 2 by 3. So that gives you the slope of the line directly. Please note this down. Valencia, you're writing these things down?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please note it. Once done, please let me know. Then I can erase, okay?
Correct, sir.
Okay, written, right? Fine. Now, so these were about the parallel and the perpendicular lines. The other important concept that we need to find out is if the intercepts points are given, how to get the equation of the line. So that means if there's any line whose x-intercepts and y-intercepts are given, that means suppose this is the x-intercept and the length is a. So that literally means this coordinate has to be a comma 0. And that's the y-intercept whose length is b. So that literally means this coordinate is 0 comma b. In this case, if I'm writing the equation of the line, I can write it directly in the intercept form that x by a plus y by b must be equal to 1. So that's the equation of the line in the intercept form. That literally means if I have given you the points of x-intercept as 5 comma 0 and this is 0 comma 6 and I asked you what is the equation of the line passing through these points? So that literally means you can straightforward write it as x by 5 plus y by 6 and that's equals to 1. So that's the intercept form of any intercept or any straight line. Please put this in.
Yes, sir. Done.
Right? Yeah. So now we'll discuss few questions based on coordinate geometry on past paper types, right? So yeah, it says that line L1 passes through the point A whose coordinates are 2 comma 5 and it has the gradient that means m1 and that's equals to minus half. Part A of the question says find the equation of the line L2. Rather, first part says find the equation of the line L1 and give your answer in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Valencia, can you try this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So can you explain the y-intercept part, the C?
Y-intercept part?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. So see, as I already explained like before you joined, so that means if I have to find x-intercept of any line, okay, got that? Of any line, what I'll do, I'll put the opposite part as equals to 0. So that means I'll put y equals to 0, right? And that means if I have to find y-intercept, right, I have to put x equals to 0. Got that? The opposite part. That's how the intercepts are done. So suppose if I have a line 2x plus 5y equals to 6. I asked you what is the x-intercept. So simply put y as 0, right? Isn't it? So x-intercept should be 2x equals to 6, x equals to 3. So my x-intercept point is 3 comma 0. Understood, Valencia?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So in this case, can you tell me what did you get as an equation of a line?
Is it x plus 2y is equal? Is it x plus 2y is equal to 4?
You said x plus 2y equals to 4. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Now I'll tell you two ways of doing it. One is your easier way, where you can say y is equal to minus half x plus c, right? Isn't it? Because the value of your m is minus half, right? Then it is passing through the points 2 comma 5. So you can put the value 5 of y here and the value of x as 2 here, right? Isn't it? And you calculate the value of c. So in this case, if I cancel this out, so the value of c is 6, right? Isn't it? So far, any doubts, Valencia?
No, sir.
So if the value of c is 6 and I place it over here, so I got it as y is equal to minus half x plus 6. That's the equation of the line we are looking into the form, right? Isn't it? So you made some errors here, right? Isn't it? Got that?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Now, the other part, if I'm just putting this one, yeah. So the thing is, the other way of doing it is I can write the equation directly as y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x. Please learn this method. Now, what is m? M is already given, that's minus half, right? Isn't it? X1 and y1 are these points, right? Isn't it? So that means you can write directly y minus 5 equals to minus half, and that's x minus x1. So that means x minus 2. And if you simply open and multiply, you get the same answer. Is this understood, Valencia? Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay, please note it down.
Understood, sir.
Right. So now moving ahead is the part B of the question. So it says that part B of the question, they have given the coordinates of a point B, which is minus 2 comma 7. And we know that the equation of the line L1 is y is equal to minus x by 2 plus 6, right? So they said prove that point B lies on L1. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just tell me whether it lies or it does not lie. The question says show that it lies. Able to get it, Valencia?
It's not lying, sir.
Okay. So see, in these type of questions, what you have to do is just put the x coordinate into the line, right? Got that?
Yes, sir.
So if you're putting the x coordinate into the line, so I can write minus of minus 2 over 2 plus 6, right? How much I am getting the value of y, Valencia? Tell me.
Y is 6, sir.
How much?
6.
No, look at carefully. How much is the value of y I'm getting? So if I write one more step, so it's 2 by 2 plus 6, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's 1.
How much
1
it
plus
is?
1 plus 6, 7.
7. So we are getting y as 7. Is the y coordinate here also 7?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that literally means the point B will lie on L1, right? Just
True,
put
yes.
the x coordinate and match out the y coordinates. If the y coordinates are matching, it is lying. If it's not matching, it's not lying. Simple, right?
Okay, sir.
Note it down.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Right? So now the C part of the question, it says that, again, I'll write the information for you. The coordinates of A that they have given is 2 comma 5, and the coordinates of B that they have given is minus 2 comma 7. They said show that the length AB, that means the distance AB, right? Length of AB can be written in the form of k root 5, where k is an integer. Valencia, will you be able to do this
Yes,
using the
sir.
distance formula?
Yes,
Try
sir.
that. Hmm. The value of the k that you got is 5, right? Isn't it?
Value of K is 2.
K is 2. You got the value of k as 2, right? Isn't it? Let's check that. So we can say this is x1, this is y1, right? And this is x2, and that's y2, right? So if I'm finding out the distance, so it should be root under of x2 minus x1 whole square, right? Plus y2 minus y1 whole square, right? Isn't it? So that means if I'm now putting it into the formula, so that's minus 2 whole square plus y minus 5 whole square. So what I got it as, now this is minus 4 whole square and this is 2 square. So I got it as 16 and plus 4. So that's equals to root under of 20. So what you got is correct because that can be written as 2 root 5. So the value of k has to be 2. So that's absolutely correct. Yeah. So we'll move ahead to the other part of the question. Now that's part D. Listen very carefully. What it has said, that there's a point C, which is lying on the line L1, right? So the x coordinate of point C is P, right? And it's lying on the line L1, right? The length of AC is equals to 5 units. And you have to show that P square minus 4P and minus 16 equals to 0. Valencia, is the question understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try proving this.
Okay, sir.
I write for you the coordinates of A if you are. So the coordinates of A is again 2 comma 5, right?
So here the AC means the distance between A and C. The distance formula will use.
Yes, we have to. Yes. Because coordinates of A is known. Now, x coordinate of C is also known, right? Isn't it? So first you have to find the y coordinate of point C, right? How will you do that?
As it passes through the line,
It lies on this line, isn't it?
yes, sir. So will we substitute and find?
Yes. So put the value of x as p here, right? So you automatically get the y value, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's your y coordinate. So that means I make it easier for you. So for a coordinates is 2 comma 5. For c coordinates is p comma 6 minus p by 2, right? Isn't it? You have to apply distance formula, which should be
Yes,
equal to 5 and prove this equation.
but it's not the same line.
Did you prove it, Valencia?
Yes, sir. P square minus 4p is equal to 1 I'm getting.
You're getting p square minus 4p equals to 1.
Yes, sir.
No, but that's not the case. You have to prove p square minus 4p minus 16 should be equal to 0, right? Isn't it? So let's do it together, right? Check out. So see here. So the points A is 2 comma 5, right? And point B or point C rather is P, and that's 6 minus P by 2, right? Isn't it? So suppose this is x1, y1, and that's your x2, y2. So if I'm putting it into the distance formula, so that's x2 minus x1 whole square. So that means that's P minus 2 whole square, right? And that's y2 minus y1 whole square. So that's 6 minus P by 2 minus 5 whole square, right? Isn't it? And that must be equal to 5. Any doubts so far, Valencia?
I thought it was p by 2 minus 6 plus. I changed it to I got the answer.
So you took it reverse or something like that?
Yes, sir.
Not a problem. That's not an issue at all. So p minus 2 whole square, right? Isn't it? 6 minus 5 is 1. So that means it's 1 minus p by 2 whole square. And that's equals to 5, right? So now I have to remove roots from both the sides. What can I do? I can simply square, right? Isn't it? And that should be equal to 25. Any doubts so far, Valencia?
No, sir.
So I'm just expanding, right? Isn't it? So that's plus 1. That's minus of p, right? Isn't it? And that's plus of p squared by 4. And that is equals to 25. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Right. So that's p squared plus p squared by 4. So that gives you 5p squared by 4, right? Isn't it? Minus 4p and minus p. So that's minus of 5p, right? Isn't it? And that's plus 5. And that's equals to 25. So I can take 5 out, right? Isn't it? I can write it as p squared by 4 minus p, and that's plus 1. And that should be equal to 25. So that means if I divide, so this becomes 5 again. Isn't it? Sorry. Any doubts there? Valencia, any doubts?
No, sir.
Right. Now I can simply take the LCM and the job is done. So p squared minus 4p plus 4 must be equal to 20, right? Isn't it? Got that? So I got the required result. Any doubts?
No, sir.
So please check out your calculation there, right? So now you get 1 mark for putting the distance formula correct, 1 mark for finding the x and y coordinate correct, 1 mark for this entire calculation, and final mark for getting the final thing correct. So this is a 4-marker thing. Understood? It's a huge weight, Valencia. So once you're doing these type of problems, you should be very much aware of the forms and put it properly. Spend a minute extra, but make it correct. Okay. Should I erase this? Have you written this down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move ahead with another board type of question, which is commonly asked. So now it says that the point A has a coordinate minus 6 comma 4, right? Point B has a coordinate 8 comma minus 3, and it lies on the line L, right? First of all, find the equation of the line L in the form of ax plus by plus c equals to 0, where a, b, and c are integers. So you have to get that. The b part of the question says, find the distance AB, right? Giving your answer again in the form of k root 5, and you have to get k as an integer, right? Is the question clear, Valencia?
Yes, sir.
Please try this. Let me know the values.
So I have a doubt in the first one, but the second one I've got it. The K is
Okay, so you
7.
have okay, so do you have a doubt in the first one? Let's do first one, right? Isn't it? So first of all, we'll get the gradient of AB, right? Isn't it? So I can write x1, y1 and x2, y2, right? So the gradient formula, y2 minus y1 over
By X to
x2
Y.
minus x1, right? Isn't it? So that means minus 3 minus 4, right? And that should be 8 minus of minus 6, right? Isn't it? So that's minus 7 and that's 14. So the gradient is minus half, right? So we can put it into the favorite form, y is equal to mx plus c, right? Isn't it? So y is equal to minus half x plus c. I can take any of the coordinates. Let's take the first one, right? So I can place y as 4 minus half and I can place x as minus 6, right? Isn't it? Plus c. So see minus minus, this gets cancelled, right? Got that? So I got 4 equals to 3 plus c, or the value of c is 1, right? So that literally means my equation now becomes y is equal to minus x by 2 plus 1, right? Isn't it? Any doubts so far, Valencia?
No, sir.
Now I can simply take up an LCM. So it becomes 2y, right? Equals to minus x plus 2, right? So that means it becomes 2y plus x minus 2 equals to 0 and is the form of ax plus by plus c. So I'll compare. So the value of a is 1, right? The value of b is 2 and the value of c is minus 2. Perfectly understood, Valencia. Please note this down.
Yes, sir.
Written down. Should I erase this?
Yes, sir. I've written it down.
Okay. So we'll go on to the next question of this type. The equation of the line L, this time they have given, is y is equal to 5 minus 2x. That's the equation of the line. First question is pretty easy, as I discussed earlier also. Show that the point P, which is 3 comma minus 1, lies on the line, right? Part B says find the equation of the line perpendicular to L, right? And which passes through the point P. It passes through the point P, and you have to write the equation in the form of ax plus by plus c equals to 0. Is the question understood, Valencia?
Yes, sir. But can you explain the A part below the question?
Sorry, what you said?
Can you explain the question once again?
Yeah. So part A says there's a point P, 3 comma minus 1, and you have to prove that it lies on the line, right? Got that?
Yes, sir.
Part B of the question says you have to find the equation of the line which is perpendicular to the line L, right? Got that? And it passes through the point P, that means this point, right? And you have to write the equation in the form of ax plus by plus c equals to 0. Is it now okay?
Yes, sir.
The first one is a 1 marker. This is a 4 marker. Make sure Valencia are getting it correct. Valencia got the first part.
Yes, sir. Reading the second part.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Finish.
Yeah, you got that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm erasing this out and I'm placing the other question here, right?
Yes, sir.
So it says that equation of a line L1 is y is equal to 3x plus 2, right? And L2 has an equation which is 3x plus 2y minus 8 equals to 0. First says, sorry, find the slope of L2. Part B says, find the point of intersection, right? Of L1 and L2. And the point is P, right? So you have to get the coordinates of P. So yeah, try these two, A and B. Is the question understood, Valencia?
Yes, sir.
Go for it. Valencia, I think A part should have been fine, right?
Yes, sir. Finish. Calculating the V part.
Yeah. B part, you just have to solve the two equations simultaneously to get the
Yes,
values of
sir.
x and y. Yeah. Got that? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So I'm placing few other types of questions also. Try these ones, right? So the first set is for parallel lines, right? Isn't it? So if I say A has a coordinate A comma 6, point B has a coordinate 2 comma minus 5, and it's parallel, so the slope of M1 is 5, right? Isn't it? And these are parallel lines, right? So we have to get the value of A, right? So you have to find A. Number two, if A is 6 comma minus 2, B is 3 comma B, again, the slope M1 is 1 by 3. You again have to get B in this case. The two are for perpendicular lines, right? So if I say that A has a coordinate, say A comma 2, and B has a coordinate 3 comma minus 1, and the slope of the line is 1 by 2, right? So you have to get the value of A. In this case, the lines are perpendicular, right? B says if A is 2 comma minus 1 and coordinate of B is 2 comma C, and the gradient is equals to minus 3. So get the value of C. Is the question understood, Valencia?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Try to get A, B, and A.
Okay, sir.
Valencia got for parallel lines.
Third is perpendicular line.
Okay. Any one completed, like sum number one?
Yes, sir.
How much you got AS?
I got it as 9 by 5.
Sorry, how much?
I got it as 9 by 5, sir.
9 by
5.
5. Okay, let's check that. Let's check just once so it becomes easier, right? Isn't it?
Yes,
So
sir.
again, x1, y1 and x2, y2, right? So you'll have to calculate the gradients, right? So minus 5, minus 6, right? And that's 2 minus a. And that is equals to 5, right? Isn't it? So I got minus 11 equals to 10 and minus 5a, right? Isn't it? Any doubts?
No, sir.
So we got it as minus 5a equals to minus of 21, right? Isn't it? Is this a calculation error which you faced, Valencia? Check out.
Yes, sir. Yes. Let me
Yes,
check it.
yes. Please do it slowly, Valencia. We're not in a hurry, right? Do it slowly, but make it correct, okay? Valencia got the second one for parallel lines.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now try one for perpendicular lines as well. Right. Valencia, once you get anyone in perpendicular lines, do let me know, right? We can check out.
I finished the first one in perpendicular lines. The second
Uh-huh.
one, the c plus 1 is getting divided by 0. So anything divided by 0 is equal to 0. So what do we do? The second term?
If something is
Perpendicular
divided
lines.
by 0, so C can take any value, right? Because it becomes infinite, right?
Yes,
Got
sir.
that? So C can be any value. Can you tell me the value of A that you got here?
A is 3 by 2, sir.
3 by 2, right? Okay. So just let's check that again. So if I'm putting it as x1, y1, and that's x2, y2, right? Again, so y2 minus y1, so that's equals to minus 3. And if I'm putting x2 minus x1, so that's 3 minus a. And if I multiply that with half, right? So it should be equal to minus 1, right? Isn't it? So I can cancel minus sign from both the sides, right? So I got 3 equals to, so this gets multiplied. So that's 6 minus 2a, right? Isn't it? So what you got is absolutely correct. A is 3 by 2. Perfect. Nice, Valencia. Now, Valencia, this session is all about coordinate geometry. So anything, any question which you practiced also and you didn't got it in coordinate geometry, you can ask. Check out.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Should I erase this? Everything done on the board, right?
So I had a doubt in this question. Shall I tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, the question is find the relation between x and y such that the point x and y is equidistant from the point 7 comma 1 and 3 comma 5
Says that the point x and y,
is equidistant from the point 7 comma y and 3 comma 5.
7 comma y and
7 comma 1, sir.
7 comma 1 and
3 comma 5.
3 comma 5. So you want to say find the relation between x and y such that x and y both are equidistant from here. That's what you want to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the thing is, suppose the coordinates of the point is xy. So we have to get the distance from 7 comma 1, right? Isn't it? So that means we can write it as x minus 7 whole square plus y minus 1 whole square. Any doubts, Valencia?
No, sir.
Then the other coordinate is this, right? Isn't it? Which is we can write it as x minus 3 whole square, and that's y minus 5 whole square, right? So we can square and equate, right? Isn't it? So that becomes x minus 7 whole square plus y minus 1 whole square, and that must be equal to x minus 3 whole square and plus y minus 5 whole squares. Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
So see, all x squares and y squares will get cancelled, right? So I'll only be left out in the first part should be minus 14x plus 49, right? Isn't it from here? From here, I'll be left out with minus 2y plus 1. Here, I'll be left out with minus 6x plus 9, right? And here, I'll be left out with minus 10y, and that's this one, and plus 25. Any doubts in this line?
No, sir.
So I'll bring all x on one side and all y on one side. Got that? So that's minus 14x. And I'll bring the other x, so that's plus 6x, right? Isn't it? And here it is plus 50, 49 plus 1, and I'll bring y on the other side. So that's minus 10y plus 2y, so that's minus 8y, right? Isn't it? And that's 25 plus 9, so that's 34. So I got it here as minus 8x, right? Plus 50, that's equals to minus 8y and plus of 34, right? Isn't it? So minus 8x equals to minus 8y. And if I bring 50 here, so that's minus of 16. Any doubts so far? I can take minus 8 out. So x equals to y plus 2. That's the relation between x and y we are looking for. Understood, Valencia?
Yes, sir.
Note it down. Whatever they say, simply apply it into the formula and you get the answer.